Well, I'm originally from Southwest North Dakota. I grew up in a rural area. I was very fortunate that my high school music program, well, not only high school, but the music program in my hometown was pretty strong given the size. It was about a town of a size of about 1,500 people. We were just really fortunate to have great music teachers, and so I was really active from a pretty young age. My dad also was a music major in college, although he took over the family farm. He had a huge influence on my musical upbringing, played piano starting at the age of 5, and started playing saxophone in the 5th grade when we started band in elementary school. Really loved it all. I played piano, sang in the choir, played in the band all throughout high school, and then was also really fortunate, and this was a huge part of influence on me at a young age, was my dad had a really great record collection. And so I loved listening to those records, both kind of on the classical side and also on the pop side, especially music of the 60s and 70s. So I got the bug. I knew I wanted to be a music major kind of from a pretty young age. Ended up going to Concordia College for my undergrad, which is a private Lutheran university, and lucky enough to study with a really great saxophonist. His name is Russell Peterson. He still teaches there actually today. And really strong music program at the time. I played in every ensemble imaginable. Saxophone quartet was a large influence, wind ensemble jazz band, and I also got a little bit of experience playing in orchestra, which is not always common for a saxophonist, right? So that was a really good experience. Also ended up meeting my wife there, which was she's also a musician. And then after my undergrad, I went directly to my master's at the University of Colorado, Boulder, and studied with Tom Meyer. Ended up taking a bit of time off between my master's and doctorate, and I taught back at Concordia where I did my undergrad on and off for 3 years, and then came back to CU for my doctorate. My dissertation topic was how to classically train saxophonists to play jazz. I tried to kind of straddle both spheres, the classical and jazz side of things, and so my dissertation has definitely come in handy throughout the years of my teaching. And then today I work a variety of places and play wherever someone hires me, but I play a lot with the Colorado Symphony, super fortunate to play a lot with them. I also teach at Denver School of the Arts, teach at Red Rocks Community College as well, play in a brass band called the Otones Brass Band, which is pretty fun. My philosophy of teaching is based in a strong technical foundation, really learning to play the saxophone well and what I view as correct. And so I am like at least half of all my lessons I think are pretty well steeped in that technical foundation, which on saxophone includes really long tone, overtone work, scalar work, any kind of finger buster, patternish things that help us become more technically profound at our instrument. And then the other big part of that technical foundation for me is sound. I feel that the saxophone, when played well, can sound like nothing else, and that's a huge part of my teaching, and it was part of my teachers as well. Influence on me was having not only a characteristic sound for the classical saxophone, but your own characteristic sound, like a personalized sound, which is not always as readily apparent than it is in the jazz realm, the other parts of the saxophonist kind of realm that we play in. I also am a firm believer in etude study. We are really fortunate to have a great plethora of etudes written for the saxophone, and in lessons with me, we pretty much do an etude once a week, and really try and focus the etude study on making sure that those etudes reflect what the students need, whether that be more on the technical side of things or more on the sonic, lyrical side of things. And then, of course, using solos and other repertoire as needed to kind of round out the students' playing. I also really strongly believe in that students should be well-rounded in this day and age. I think it's really important to be able to do a lot of things really well, if possible. And so for me in teaching, that includes making sure those students have a strong oral foundation and really have a good ear. And so I'd really try to teach from that perspective. using the ear, almost as much as looking at a sheet of music. Also, making sure that their theoretical knowledge is up to par, and also that they use that when learning music. I think that students so often can learn things quicker and more deeper if they understand the theory behind it. So I really try to use theory in my lessons as much as possible. A typical week for a saxophone major would be obviously a lesson once a week, which is, I think, important. You need to have that really solid relationship with your major teacher. And then, of course, your ensembles, the large ensembles, whether it be wind ensemble or jazz ensemble or orchestra. And then a really important part of the curriculum for saxophonists is playing in our chamber music medium, which we're lucky enough to have a really strong chamber music medium, which is the saxophone quartet. We have a very vast literature, given how old the saxophone is. It's pretty young in the grand scheme of things, right? But we have quite a bit of great rep for the saxophone quartet. And so that would be a huge part of your week, as well as getting placed in a quartet. I really try to make sure that I form strong relationships with students, that I can kind of meet them where they are, not only in their playing, but also in their personal life, be kind of a sounding board for them. But I think the other faculty that teach here have to be a huge draw. Even though I'm very new here, I've known the other, especially woodwind faculty, for many, many years of playing with them in and around the Denver metro area, and they're just absolutely amazing. So that's really exciting. You get to not only be influenced by the people in your own studio, but also the other players that are in the woodwind studio, or if you're in a jazz ensemble, the other people in the jazz ensemble. To be surrounded by that kind of environment, which is exciting, and people are always pushing each other. I always think that your peers are going to influence you almost as much, if not more, than often your major teachers. And so that kind of environment, exciting environment of great faculty, great performing ensembles, and also then great students that are excited about being here, excited about what they do, and then passionate about really making sure that they're getting better each day.